Liquid Lunch Live is brought to you by Punzoni Vodka.
Hey, welcome back. Half past high noon Eastern here in New York, coming to you live from the Question Tequila Studios. You're watching Liquid Lunch on Newsmax TV. I'm John Tobacco. And not only do we mix it up, shake it up, we bring in movers and shakers. People who are really in the news, know what's happening, they know where the rubber meets the road. Today we got another one for you. Following up Mike Chase, we had Daniel Turner. Okay, Dan, thank you for joining us here on Liquid Lunch.
Thanks for having me on.
Dan is the founder, executive director of Power the Future, which is a 501c4 that aims to protect the jobs of energy workers. When Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is talking about eliminating planes, trains, automobiles, and all this other stuff, Joe Biden's now jumping aboard. All those people that do all those jobs, they need someone to stick up for them. Dan's here to do that. Dan, tell us about what your work and what the effort is all about.
Well, I appreciate you having me on, so thank you. I started this organization about 18 months ago exactly for this purpose. You know, when you do things on behalf of the environment or to like fight climate change, you're given this really wide berth to destroy people's lives, go into rural communities. You know, just today, we were talking about this earlier, just today, Mayor Bloomberg, former mayor of New York City, pledged $500 million to shut down every coal mine in America. Right, $500 million to go into towns in West Virginia and Kentucky and say, you know, I don't think you guys should have a job anymore.
And this is deemed as some great act of philanthropy.
Yeah, exactly, because it's
for the earth. I'm going to spend
$500 million.
I'm going to give it to another nonprofit that I'm somehow linked to, so I get some huge tax savings for making a $500 million donation. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to say what a great guy I am. But meantime, like you said, they're going after hardworking people's jobs, Frankie.
Yeah, well, no, that's for sure. And so it's very interesting to me that Joe Biden, who a lot of folks are saying is the Democrats' best chance to beat Donald Trump because he's supposedly popular in Rust Belt states and in places like Pennsylvania where he's from, he really has cultivated this image as blue-collar Joe. In your view, is that a reputation that's warranted?
No, gosh, no, not at all. Joe Biden doesn't even know what he believes in anymore at this point, right? His energy and environmental proposal that he put out earlier this week was basically just embracing AOC. And so when you say,
I don't know if you saw this, but we have another effort underway here. It's to make AOC bartend again.
Yeah.
Because she's driving the bus, right?
Yeah.
And now Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi are jumping on the Ocasio-Cortez bus. Like, she's running this thing.
Yeah, he launched his campaign in Pennsylvania, right? He put his headquarters in Philly, not Delaware, where he's been a senator since, I think, the World War II, right? But in Philly, to say, I'm a blue-collar guy, I'm a middle-class guy just like you. But then he embraces basically AOC, all of her climate change, all of her Green New Deal stuff. How does a guy who's been in the Senate for 48 years not stand up to a 29-year-old former bartender freshman congressperson?
I don't get it. I don't get the whole thing. And when you've been in Congress and Senate that long, for 40 years, and you've not got anything done, that should be an indication that you should exit stage left, not try to run for president. And by the way, you know, Bernie Sanders has been running for president every chance he can get, and you know, the left of the left gets screwed sometimes by their own party. But it seems like they're talking about so progressive. AOC, Ilhan Omar, all these women came in. Fantastic. They got two old white guys as their top two contenders.
And they consider themselves progressive. And as far as I'm concerned, they are regressive. Because when your platform says, we are going to abolish air travel, we are going to abolish the combustion engine, that's nothing. There's nothing progressive about that. There's nothing progressive to say that we don't want you to have an automobile. Instead, we're going to create a railroad network that you're going to be forced to use. And that's not progress.
I saw you on Tucker. You were talking about the things that people don't really understand. They don't understand the collateral damage, right?
Yeah.
You just hear the macro. But rare earths.
Yeah.
That we need for these things.
Yeah.
We need them for our phones because all the stuff in there, the gold, the platinum, the silver, all that rare earth stuff, they need these giant tractors to go and dig this stuff out of the earth. But we got to cut out tractors because they can't run on
and excavating
gas.
machines. Yeah,
Right,
and
no excavating.
I have nothing opposed to renewable energies. I'm not opposed to wind. I'm not opposed to solar where they
Neither
make
I.
sense and where they're not subsidized by taxpayers. Let them compete in the market, and if you can use it, fantastic. This is America, right? But if you believe that like a solar panel is somehow green, it takes more oil and gas to make a solar panel than it does to burn it to run the electric grid. I mean, a solar panel has 100 barrels of oil in it. One solar panel, right?
Well, if you remember going back a few years ago when Barack Obama was giving away billions of dollars to go solar, and everybody started slapping these crazy looking solar panels on their roof, that's because the government was subsidizing it.
Yeah.
We were paying for it. And as soon as the subsidies went away, the whole solar business tanked.
Yeah, and Joe Biden has promised $1.7 trillion in investment. $1.7 trillion in green investments. So I think we should all quit our jobs and we should just start like a solar panel factory. Because if we're going to get $1.7 trillion in investment, I'm going to join up.
Yeah, Dan, there's a lot of cynics, a lot of skeptics in our audience, as you might imagine, that would watch a show hosted by John. A lot of people are going to be watching this and hearing.
I was trying to figure it out. That's 1.7 trillion.
A lot of zeros.
That's a lot of zeros, and that's how much. If you elect Joe Biden, he's going to give 1.7 trillion to eliminate, not billion, trillion, to get rid of tractors and workers, and you guys are doing a hell of a job.
Well, but so that
looking out for these people. So nobody's looking out for them.
But leads me to my final question, Dan, is how do folks at home know that Power the Future isn't just some entity funded by special interests to protect against any potential competitors like renewable energy?
Because we support a marketplace. Like I said, I don't oppose any renewable energies. I do oppose subsidies, but we don't get subsidies. And I say we, I mean like the energy industry doesn't get subsidies. People say, well, oil and gas are competing with wind and solar, and wind and solar is cheaper. I have no idea if wind and solar create cheaper energy because they don't have to fight to get land permits. They get government subsidies. They get government tax breaks.
So now the two top contenders are both all over the Green New Deal, Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders. We broke this news yesterday. I don't know if you saw it, but Bernie and Biden got together to try to kind of simmer things down in the fight, and all hell broke loose. Take a look. Biden goes down one shot. He stumbles to his feet because Bernie hits him again. All right. I can't get over it. Frank gets mad when I turn to serious segments. James Clapper comes into referee. We're joking around, but I do find it funny that, like you said, Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden are following Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's lead on this new Green Deal, and they're adopting a first-year freshman former bartender's policies.
Yeah, and I have no problem with the fact that she became a congressperson, right? That's the American dream, that's fantastic. But that doesn't give her preternatural understanding of how electric grids work, right? Or what's going to happen in coal country and in rural America. And when she tries to pass policies that are going to put these people out of a job, someone has to stand up and tell her she doesn't have a right to do that.
That's what Dan's doing for all those workers out there with Power of the Future. You stay right there. We're going to take a quick break. We're coming back with Bill Cortez. We're going to have a drink. We're going to have a donut, liquid lunch. Back after this.